Um, I heard a word that um, I think is the best word that I've ever heard, the best description, understanding what it means to be black in America. Forget about slavery, forget about, it's not that it doesn't count. It's not that all the struggles that black Americans go through every day, they don't count, or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is it's precisely the opposite. Is that aside from the Jim Crow era or the slavery era or any of those like, can't remember who said it, but this idea that it's exhausting to be black, and because so as much as I can get angry at a certain player, basketball player, I've been vocal about how scheming was Kawhi Leonard and leave the Lakers hanging. But if I see him outside of the context of basketball, I'm gonna forget about it. I'm probably gonna forget about it, and I'm probably gonna go like, I may mention, dude, what happened there, but I wouldn't be. I would try to live the moment and get to know the guy, right? And it would be easier because if I find him in a place away from the hats and all the other stuff, just dressing normal, like I probably would ask him for an autograph or something like that, like any NBA player, because I think what they do is amazing stuff. I was a basketball player once. You admire those guys. And when the uniform is not on, it's just, that guy that you've seen doing stuff, even if it's not for your team. But the problem, and you see, when you take the uniform off, you leave the basketball stuff there. But you cannot take your skin off. And I may look kind of white, right? I may look Jewish with this, my inheritance from Sephardic Jews all around, pretty much the Caribbean and the Hispanic countries. But I'm Latino, I'm Latino, Puerto Riqueño, speak Spanish. I mean, if you haven't noticed, some difficulties for me to pronounce certain things in English, my main language is Spanish, but I am from Puerto Rico, so I was born an American citizen. And as a Puerto Rican, sometimes you get that feeling of needing to remember, yeah, I'm an American. And it feels like you are a foreign in your own country. See what I'm saying? And but in this case in particular, like LeBron said, it's just when you are young, even in that era where you are supposed to, it's normal not to be afraid of anything. For the experience in your community that there is a 50-50 chance in your mind that the policeman is your friend, maybe, is your protector, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe it's the opposite, the threat. There's people that have an irrational fear to the police, and they are going to react in strange ways, And so there's a need to educate people on how, look, police have to learn how to interact with people. And I understand it's a dangerous job. Being a policeman is a dangerous job, and I'm trying to wrap my head around the idea that it might not have been a hate reaction. But I am pretty sure that assumptions were made, if you understand what I mean. Used to have long hair, right? And where I was, it was close to areas inhabited by Navajo people, and some people thought I was Navajo. I didn't have a beard, I had long hair, and my long hair, it's very thin, it's very, Indian-like, very, very silky. I don't know how to describe, but so many people thought I was Navajo, and I can remember when I was walking on the, crossing the street. The people that were stopped at the light would start bang, 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 bang. You could hear all the locks going down. I understand people want to be safe. as this. That's a general feeling, and it's understandable that if you see somebody that you could not know if you can trust, you react to that. But when people are constantly treated like they might be criminals, they are going to feel all their life like they are walking on eggshells. And they are going to be defensive all their lives, because they are going to be in fear all their lives that one of these days somebody says, you know what, your life is not that much worth it. I'm just going to shoot you just in case. So, Black American mothers teach their kids how to act. It's almost like an exam if you're a black person, that you have to go through all. This is what you do when a cop stops you. You put the hands on your wheels. You open the windows so the police officer knows that you're transparent. You go to all the things, and still there are situations where that happens. Look, statistics can show one thing, but that's not the problem. The problem is not the statistics. The problem is how how we can make this so both Black Americans and policemen feel safe. Start a procedure in which everybody gets educated. I know Black American mothers are very interested in having their kids alive and without fear walking in this country. So I'm pretty sure that at least most of them are gonna get this through their sons and daughters, because they don't want to have them one day appear in a video shot down from an altercation with the police or whatever. There's something that needs to be done on how the police needs to approach these people. And I know some policemen go through whatever the numbers are. But also, I know that, like any team, policemen will defend their brothers and sisters. But it's important that you speak up if you see that somebody is racially charged, or if they are not in the right mind when they start working, and have a procedure that allows. I don't want the policemen to lose their job, but I don't want people being murdered by policemen because they either overreacted or something like that, or they didn't know how to handle a person that is in fear because of the history that has, you know, taken the life of black people in situations that there was no need, you know, in not just black people, people in general, you know. But in this case, all these players, when they come out from entertaining us, they are people with families, with kids. That are in fear not just for them, but for their kids, for their spouse. As fans, we gotta understand that it's not just, or you know, that guy who dunks really high and makes a lot of points so it can make me feel right. It's a guy who sees these videos, or woman who sees these videos and wonder if the next one is them, or their kids, or their spouse, or somebody they love in their family. I hate that the season could end tonight and the Lakers would not get the championship that I am positive that they will get if the season continues. But that guy who works out day and night, sacrifice eating the food that he might crave for the food that really is healthy for them, make all those weights, put all those sacrifices. Sometimes he wants to stay in bed with his wife and kids, or in the case of the WNBA with her husband, or whatever their partner is. And they sacrifice a regular life to bring us entertainment. Really, they don't have to do that. They don't. Good morning, bro. I'm here, you know, just heartbroken because Jacob Blake, he's probably not going to be able to walk again. And I see the fear in the NBA players. I see the fear. I understand, man. That the next person could be there. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. So I completely understand if they in the season today, it would be painful for fans, but we need to understand. It's been a difficult year. it, it's a frustrating situation. Something that should never happen. There are procedures to do that. That's true. One of the things I was gonna say, uh, yeah, I think they should stay too. But one of the things I was gonna say is that there's certain things that they can still do in the bubble. I would, and they're small things. But I would, if I were in that meeting, I would suggest also having a moment of silence for Brianna and I don't know if the people that got shot after Jake were died. I'm not sure. I try to be away from news because sometimes I can't handle it. But and make people see this human by having videos of their families talking about them, about their aspirations and things like that, because I think it's easy to dehumanize somebody you don't know. Oh yeah, some guy got shot, or you know, yeah, something happened. There's some shooting, somebody's dead, you know. And you think, like, for example, I forgot his name, but the boyfriend of Brianna, that guy is gonna carry for the rest of his life this idea that they came for him in the obviously their suspicion was unfounded. He survives, but his girlfriend dies, you know. And if he ever wants to be in another relationship, he's gonna have to wonder, you know, can I be in another relationship? Will this ever happen to me again? Where they come for me, they try to take it on me, and instead they kill my next girlfriend, or you know. It's gotta be I don't know. I think I don't know what the answer is, except keep making people understand that these are living, breathing human beings with aspirations that trying to create some sort of empathy, and one of the problems in this country is that people, there's a reason people should let go of the past, not to forget what happened, but in order to not take that past and measure everybody, you know. And I'm talking like, one of the things I notice about racists in this country is that they think they justify being racist, adjudicating at least 90% of the blame to the victims. And yes, I know that statistics says that a bigger percent of Black American deaths are what they call black on black crimes. But the problem is that doesn't justify the other percentage that is not. You know, there's one problem and there's another problem, and both problems are different. You know, both problems can be solved with education, with making people able and making things available for the able people. You know, from one side make people able, from the other side make things available. So LeBron James call upon he calls upon the owners to do something, to have some influence beyond what they are doing right now. I don't know, I can't speak of what they can do, but I'm pretty sure they can do something. I mean, LeBron is a very intelligent guy, and he knows what he's asking for. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's talking about, asking for, and it needs to be done. And so yeah, they turn a blind eye to those main issues, and that's a problem. That's a problem. We got to be able to put in some, put on someone else's shoes and say, this is what happened, and that's something that it is hard for many people to do. You remember the I don't know. I'm dating myself here. I'm 50 years old. You remember the Rodney King case? I don't know if I don't know your age, so but probably you have seen the videos, Yeah. I remember, I don't know if you remember that one of the most infuriating things in the Rodney King case is when you see the video of the officer kicking him in the face here. And when he was asked in court what he was doing, that he says that he was using his feet to helping him up. I mean, it was like a joke. It was like a mockery. It was a circus. And in the middle of that, look, and it's always brought up this idea that, well, Rodney King had some criminal record, you know? Having a criminal record doesn't exclude you from being a human being. It only says that either you make mistakes, you thought something wrong once, or maybe even you weren't guilty in the first place and somebody, I don't know, made it look like you were guilty. It doesn't matter. Human beings make mistakes, do bad things, and they change sometimes. You cannot hold people up for their past or for the history of something else. And you know, demonizing people is bad, but demonizing people for the color of the skin is especially bad, you know? And the audacity is that in the case of the history of the American history, if somebody has grounds to demonize somebody by the color of skin, it can't be white demonizing blacks, because African Americans are descendants of slaves that were brought here not by their own free will. So who's, you know, I don't want to say that people are more deserving of being demonized. But if you had to choose which race should be demonized, I'm not saying that it's okay to demonize anybody, but I'm saying that in, you know, if we were going to do that, the logical choice wouldn't be Black Americans. It wouldn't, you know. So I hope owners do something special, in the sense that they actually come up with something aside from saving the season. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I think, you know, I was thinking a good idea is that, like, if I had the money to do it, and I had the power and the software and all that, I would try to have, you know, like windows be live all day, and have windows of people that share their stories of how these affect them, how when they decide to walk outside the door and they see a police officer, what that goes through their mind, if they kind of clinch and keep walking, like, you know, let me behave really well, you know. Having those stories showing up on my website. If I were the NBA, I would have a window where we publish uh, stories from people. From it could be basketball players, because I know basketball players. Some of them have suffered or are being wrongfully arrested and things like that. The and so, I heard stories about that, and so, but having regular people, fans, getting involved, I think some fans are not reacting well because they feel alienated by the players, and the problem on that side of the aisle is that it's hard to live for a fan without sports, but you can eventually get used to that. And like you said, leverage is something. And I'm really afraid that they do all this and it doesn't work. And then what else is there for pro athletes to do? In terms of trying to rattle the cages, like Batman said in the Christian Bale version of Batman. It's a sad situation, because I know why sports fans are kind of upset at all this, but please, anyone who is a fan, I don't think we should be upset at our players, because, like I said, they are people, and a lot of them, they are people with the targeted skin. You can't do that. So I don't know what to say. I don't know and this is a question. What, like, if we were owners of a team, I don't have that kind of power, so I don't know what I can do on the government side, like pushing the buttons of certain candidates or whatever it is, or talking in the Congress, going. I can't present a clear idea of what can be done on that side. But if anybody who watched this, if you have an idea, the chat is open for that. Humanizing the victims, to me, is one of the things that can be done on the side of the spectacle of sports. Yeah, I think that's what LeBron was upset about. Like, why are the players the ones who are always at the forefront? Because then it's what happens. Fans get mad at LeBron, get mad at whoever is speaking up when there are people more powerful, like the owners that have a ton of influence on and so I think that's one of the things LeBron James is trying to do, is trying to tell them, look, I mean, we don't know what to do, but we are tired of, and I think it's because of the response also that fans have. I think as fans, and even I see myself in that group, even though I'm trying to not put in my own needs, my own wants, because they are not really needs, my own wants in front of the bigger picture. Fans have responded a little bit badly on the, and so it's really like, if I'm an athlete and oh, you love me and you're my fan, up until I say something that is or I do something that makes lose that supposed love. It's yeah, that's true. That's true. And this is the thing. There is a halt in the government, and people so very different. I understand the reason Trump is leaving this to the local or the state authorities is because he wants the state authorities to ask for the help, because if he goes in directly, there could be a political strain, I don't know. That's why politics is so horrible, because it's problem in, I heard somebody saying that the problem with politics is that it's a chess game, but we are the pieces. And so that's not good, because they might sacrifice us for whatever their greater good is. So politics is a dirty thing. I'm trying to see if I think the meeting is going to be at 11, and then we'll know what happens. But like I said, the one thing I know the NBA could do is include the fans in the sense that they could broadcast people sharing their stories. The protest there are many sides to the protest. It's not meant to be there's the thing is, you're gonna see people using human rights. It's a human rights issue. But there's people that are gonna use this for politics. I'm pretty sure, and that's the problem. That's the problem. That because politicians are going to try to grab the issue into their politics, and then the other faction of the political, then they are going to go like, no, but this, and no, but this, and we can't. Yeah, I know. It's a very long thing. And so that's the thing. I mean, once politicians get involved, that's the thing. There's so many issues. Yeah, I agree. There's so many issues, and those are things that people don't understand. It's while politics starts grabbing those human rights themes and trying to pull back and forth with them, there's people dying. There's people suffering the consequences of the inaction of politicians. And we gotta act together, everybody. You know, the biggest thing we gotta save this nation from is lack of understanding. Because as we don't talk to each other and try to talk to each other with the frame of mind that we need to see this from every side, so we can, you know, you remember the Rubik's Cube? You have to like look all the sides to finally make it whole, all the colors on one side, all the other colors on one other side, and make it, you know, I don't know. It's but I wish I could be in that meeting. I wish I could be in that meeting and see what is being said. I'm just curious of how they are going to approach that. Yes. 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 our communication channel working right now, and that's the biggest problem. That's the fight. The fight is not between political parties or skin colors. The fight is against misunderstanding, against not communicating well, and not putting ourselves on the other person's shoes. And in this country, there is amazing stuff happening. Like, I saw the video of, this African American guy who convinced a high-ranking KKK member to hang up the rope and leave the KKK, and that was amazing. That guy needs to talk to all of us. And I need to remember his name. I need to look for him because I need to post stuff about how he did that. But being brave sometimes is not the way people think it should be. It's just facing something you fear with the shield of something that you believe that it's bigger than your fear. That's what that man did, and in doing so, he showed this other guy that fear, intimidation, anger, creates this tunnel vision, right? And so once he opened that for him, the other guy just reacted. The guy left the Ku Klux Klan, and he was a leader there. And he wasn't fast. Like, it wasn't from, he didn't do it in a week. He did it for years. I mean, they became friends. And stories like that kind of give me hope, right? So let's see what happens today. But that's, humanizing people would be one of the things in my agenda. Bringing people, not just the testimony of the people around the people that have been killed, but also bringing testimony of fans of the game that have suffered at certain level of that. Somebody they loved suffer because of this. Look, I know people resist the usage of sports as a communication of social issues, because most people want to get the real world away and enjoy sports. But at a certain point, you have to understand that guy who's doing this amazing stuff, that you're going like, wow, yes, you did it. It's a person that at the end of the day, when he walks out or she walks out, they are going to be like you and me, and they can be target. Okay. See you later, man. Thanks for, sharing a little bit with me. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll send you an email, so you can have my email there too. All right. By the way, if anybody else watch LA Sports Live, he's got videos in his channel, very interesting, informative. So, go to LA Sports Live and subscribe to him. So, anybody who watches this later, check out check out his channel. So, right, one of the things about my channel is it's a channel that helps me enjoy, but also from time to time we need to vent, and I don't know how angry was LeBron. So when he is serious, he looks focused. So he looked serious, but he looked worried. And he looked frustrated, and I know he's making a political statement that might not be yours. Look, whatever your politician is, you gotta hold, especially the politicians that you approve of, hold them accountable for things. And there's a lot of chess playing going around with politicians from both parties, not just one party, but from both. So here's my plea to politicians. So on the left side of the aisle, eliminating weapons is going to be at the forefront of what it is. And it's eliminating weapon masked as regulating them. Because regulating weapons will not stop criminals, and it will criminalize people that will find that unconstitutional, which we know it is. But then there's the other part, which is that they are going to push the idea that this is part of a plan to strip us from our freedoms. We cannot make it about that, about any of that. We gotta make it about what are we gonna do to start respecting one another, getting along with one another, and being able to function as a society together. Because the moment that we give up on building together, we're just telling segregationists, that they were right. That races can't be together. And it's funny because America acknowledged itself as a country, as a melting pot. But I tell you this, there are melting pots all around the world. And most certainly, we don't look like we are melting well, you know? So saying that we are a melting pot doesn't make it so if we can't melt together. If we cannot go to... I was watching Dan the Lakers fan, who's another YouTuber that is a fan of the Lakers, obviously, like me. And he was saying that racists miss out on melting pot type of activities, like this potlucks where people go and try food from different places. And like, imagine us without Italian food and all that kind of stuff. You know something interesting? I lived in Arizona for a while, and I worked at ASU for a while, and I remember that we did this employees activity, like a potluck, and people brought food from, each other's house. There was this African lady from West Africa. I can't remember exactly where, but I knew because reading the history of slavery from the Spanish side, I knew that slaves came from some of that area where her country was. I can't remember her country now. But it wasn't in the forefront of my mind. But when she brought food, we have something we call sofrito. If you are Puerto Rican like me, Puerto Rican like me, you know what sofrito is. She brought something with sofrito. And I'm like, we do that in Puerto Rico. We do that in Puerto Rico because it's part of that culture of slaves that came to the island. Now, all Puerto Ricans enjoy sofrito because of these African lives that came across us. So, I explained to her that we had that as something that identifies us as Puerto Ricans. But at the same time, I realized that it's something that connects us to her culture in a way that was completely unexpected for both of us, for her and for me. And it was easier for her because she didn't have the slavery history to go through, like, because she comes directly from Africa, so that part of the connection, fortunately, for her is not there, so we could share without having anything in the back of our head that there was a clash between my ancestors and my ancestors, because I have also in part African, what we call Afro-Caribbean or Afro-Caribbean blood in me. So but it was a great experience. It was a great experience to be connected in that way. And I'll always remember that. So, we gotta back up our players, because more than players, they are human beings, and they see stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if you saw Chris Webber, but I think he was the one who said that it's very stressful to be black. It's very tiring to be black because you have always to look up your shoulder and you don't know who to trust. And you have, you can see how things can go wrong really fast. And we gotta support them. We got to, as fans, we gotta support them as people, not just as our, entertainers, as our basketball court heroes. They are much more than that. They are people with families that worry about scenes like this happening to someone they love or themselves. Would you like to see your basketball star being tasered, shot in the back? That's the thing. In basketball, everybody who knows basketball knows that stats doesn't show everything. That's why we have now the plus minus. And basically what it measures is how, when some player is there, how the player impacts in ways that cannot be measured well by just points, and players that make the life of the opposite player hard enough that they start making mistakes, right? In the case of the Lakers, Alex Caruso, he might not score 1 point, but when he's on the court, the plus minus go into the plus pretty high, pretty fast. And so, even though stats might show that the bigger crimes against Black Americans are from other Black Americans, that is not the concern here. In the sense that is not, one thing have nothing to do with the other one, in the sense of this is more important, so this one we're not just gonna address it. No. This one, even if it's way less than this other one, these are the people that are supposed to serve and protect the citizens, not intimidate and kill citizens. And I'm okay with policemen trying to defend themselves in a situation. But when a guy is giving you his back, all you can do is point and have your partner pointing from flanking range, So both policemen can protect each other that way, pointing at the guy from different angles, so if the guy tries to do something, you can get a clear shot. That I understand. What I don't understand is shooting 7 times somebody in the back. That is the act of cowards. That is not the act of responsible police officers. I'm trying to see. I'm gonna keep broadcasting for a while. But I'm trying to see if anybody knows anything. May have to get into Twitter and see, because let's see what is going on. Something's wrong there. Again. Let's do it. Wow. I don't know exactly what is going on right now.
Wisconsin. And let me say this, I'm 51 years old. And obviously as a child, I loved Muhammad Ali, was very proud of Muhammad Ali, had a general understanding as a kid of the sacrifice that he had made for African Americans.
Chris Broussard.
And I'm going to say this,
talking.
As a man, as an adult, I have never been more proud of black athletes than I am of the Milwaukee Bucks today. I salute y'all brothers and give you the highest praise. This is the fortitude. This is the courage. This is the love for our people. This is the sacrifice that we need to get the justice and equality that we have earned and that we deserve in this country that our ancestors built, literally built, and that we have fought for just like everyone else to defend. I love it. I've long said, and many of you have heard it, that I believe we have three ways, 3 points of leverage that we can use to get justice and equality in this country. That is our dominance of popular culture through sports and entertainment. That is our consumerism through potential boycotting. And that is the vote. And the vote is limited. I mean, the vote is good. Vote, we should vote. But it's limited. We had a black president, we still at the bottom. We got black mayors all over the country, and we're still at the bottom of every one of those cities. So we need to use the leverage that we have in the vote and in the other two areas I mentioned and get things done. And our athletes are the most beloved black people in the country, if not on the earth. They are the most well-connected. They are by and large the wealthiest. And they are the most irreplaceable. You can't replace them. They're too good. And that gives us leverage. And I've been waiting for our athletes to use that leverage on behalf of not just themselves, but primarily African American people as a whole. The masses of African American people who aren't making the millions of dollars, who are being discriminated against. And this is the way to do it. I hope this is the start of something big, man. This doesn't help me. As a sports broadcaster, I obviously need the games. But, man, the equality and justice for African American people, my people, is much more important than a game.
Yes.
Than a championship. Than putting a ball in a hoop. Than throwing a pigskin 50 yards on the gridiron. Than hitting a baseball out of the park. This is life and death as we've seen. And
yes.
So I salute you, brothers, and I salute the white brothers too on the Milwaukee Bucks. My man Kyle Korver, much love for him, and all the other white players on the Bucks. And what we hope from this, I assume the players hope, I know what I hope, is that this action will force the owners of the NBA teams to say, we can't take this financial hit by these players not playing. So let's use our power to go and talk to the power brokers in this country, the politicians, the lawmakers, the attorney generals, the police chiefs,
yes.
the business owners, of which obviously the owners in the NBA are, and say to them, things have got to change. We got to start hiring more African Americans. We've got to start promoting more African Americans. We've got to change the laws, make them equal for African Americans. Give African Americans the benefits that whites have been given since day one, since before America was even a country. Whether it was slavery, the Homestead Act, the GI Bill from 44 to 56, the Federal Housing Administration loans that built the white suburbs. I could go on and on. Even affirmative action has benefited white people more than blacks. And white women who married to white men mostly. And so, shout out, man. This is great. And I hope the rest of the league supports it. I hope the NFL players support it. I hope the MLB players support it. Because then change will get done. Quick example. Robert Kraft, the owner for the Patriots. What did he, when he got involved in the Meek Mill investigation, Meek Mill was out of prison in 2 weeks. Jay-Z, Rick Ross, various athletes from the Eagles and other places, other teams, had been fighting for months to get Meek Mill out of prison. Robert Kraft gets involved and he's out in 2 weeks. That is the power that these wealthy white men have, these corporate titans have. Now use it on behalf of not only the black players that you say you love, but the black people that you say you love. If Black Lives Matter, show us.
Okay, so there's a video that is going around on Facebook and on YouTube. It's from Axe TV called Systemic Racism Explained. Makes some interesting arguments, and I thought it's worthwhile going through them a little bit. So we're going to play the video, we'll stop it, we'll discuss it.
Wow. It looks like the Milwaukee Bucks are
Today we're in Huntington Beach, California, and we've been talking to people about why we believe defund.
I'm trying to find news, you know. Let's go to this source. See if let's see what it says here. This is on NBA.com. They have the statement of the Milwaukee Bucks. I like what Chris Webber said. I'm trying to put it on, but I don't know if it's going to show. Oh, it's gone. I I want to know what goes in the head of fans. Sometimes I feel like they see players as, how do you see players? Do you see the human being behind the player? Are you interested only in the play because, this is your personal clown? I hope you can hear it. I can barely hear it.
Can't be something till you see it. When I tell you the little kids that have called me upset, I have a godson that has autism, and I just had to explain to him why we're not playing. I have young nephews that I've had to talk to about death before they've even seen it in a movie. If not now, when? If not during a pandemic and countless lives being lost, if not now, when? That's all I just want to hear from you. The rest of the night while everybody's pontificating and thinking and soapboxing, all of that, we know nothing is going to change. We get it. Martin Luther King got shot and risked his life, Medgar Evers, and we've seen this from all of our heroes constantly taken down. We understand it's not going to end, but that does not mean, young men, that you don't do anything. Don't listen to these people telling you don't do anything because it's not going to end right away. You are starting something for the next generation to take over. You have to be smart in this. You have to make sure that you have a plan. You have to be articulate about that plan, yes. All of those things. That's what you're going to do in their profession. They know how to be the best of themselves. So I applaud it. I applaud it because it is the young people. It is the young people leading the way. And I applaud it.
Stan Van Gundy, we saw last night Doc Rivers. You could just see the emotion pouring out of him as he tries to guide a team through this time that you play all season for. You're in the playoffs, but the reality, it was almost like there were just been years
So I'm reading some tweets. Um, there's an interesting quote here from Mark Davis. It says, "It's not right versus left. It's right versus wrong. It's everybody versus racism." There was referees doing a symbolic march around the campus and talking about what this is about, and it's not like my man at LA Sports Live said, this is not about politics. It's about human rights. It's about people, you know, and so we gotta get the politics out of it, right? Like I said before, you don't shoot 7 times in the back a guy because he's got a criminal record. You know, I understand. Like if the guy goes and gets into the car, you can, you know, maybe forcefully get him out or something, or just not let him get there and finally arrest him or whatever you do. But shooting that guy 7 times in the back, you know, you can say, well, you know, he was going to the car. I don't know. You may assume that he's going for a weapon. Then don't let him get there. You know? Like if you have to force him to the floor and handcuff him, I understand that. What I don't understand is shooting a guy in the back 7 times. That doesn't sound like a self-defense thing to me. That doesn't sound like something that should have happened. That is makes no sense. And so, you know, if I see a bunch of videos of Latinos that look like me, you know, that have my skin tone, my beard, something that reminds them or be I don't know, classified like me, and I see a bunch of videos through my whole life of people receiving that kind of treatment, knowing that even if I become a famous basketball player, my cousin, my wife, my sons or daughters, or my parents can suffer that. How can you function, you know? So I like what the referees do. Usually I don't like a lot of the stuff the refs are doing in the bubble, but that one I did like. And I don't, you know, I don't want to kind of have to diffuse a little bit of my anxiety. That's why I did that kind of, in a kind of joking mode. But believe me, I don't feel like any of this is a joke. I don't feel like any of this should be taken just lightly and just, well, you know, let's forget about it. I know sports are meant to entertain, are meant to take you off, you know, anxiety, things. Though when my team is losing, it makes me anxious. Anyway, look, people need to be safer. I mean, I don't know what else I can say. I think I'm gonna go, and I might come back live when I get something more concrete. Until then, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.